Welcome back to RLCraft, and this episode is going to be a little bit more adventurous. I still die a lot, don't get me wrong, but it is more adventurous. I have been searching a while all over for these battle towers, and it's the specific ones with typically the double chests instead of the two singles that actually have this iron person, this guardian that's on the top. I've only accidentally killed one of these guys, but this is how I take on these towers because I can't kill it. You shoot it one time and you fly down, and for whatever reason he tracks you, and if you can keep him moving, he can go all the way down to the very bottom, which gives you the opportunity to start looting from the top, which is not always the easiest. More so if it's just him, like he will hear you or visibly see you open a chest. Usually it's here though, when you actually do it. Now if there's a like skelly or zombie spawner, hopefully it's not dark enough, because they will become the skeletons become a problem. But you can see me trying to shoot it just once. I'm just trying to get it to start shooting at me. Even up close, as long as you kind of just keep moving, the fireballs are a little slow. And for some reason, I get so fixated on trying not to get him to hit me that I have been attacked more than one time by a random dragon that's in the area. And there's a ton of them. And I don't typically get off of my bird. One, because he's a little special. He likes to fly away and nobody asks. And it's a lot of looting. Like once you actually, if you just crouch or shift, if you want to say that, shift over the items, that will automatically pick them up. But there's so much of it, so I usually don't like to do that. I like to actually just pick up certain things. As a whole, you can see me just chucking stuff. I think I already have one of those guns. Don't really know why I threw away the torches. But I'm just tossing stuff, because there's always so much loot in these things. The smaller ones, not so much. Little iron shovels and buckets, which I guess you could use. Leather, armor, that sort of thing. But these big ones is the ones I wanted. And I wanted these ones because these ones will typically have like heart containers. And I was really looking to add more hearts to my bar. That, and also the baubles, which I know really nothing about, but I've been collecting those as well. And this seemed to work well enough. You see, you just hit him. Don't know why I kept attacking him. I've lost so many bows. Good bows. And then I messed up another bow. As a whole, adding multi-shot to it, which I don't like. But a lot of these towers are stone. You'll see them stone like this if you want to collect off of them. Now, if this guardian dies, then basically there's a lot of explosions that will basically blow up the spawners all the way down, and then you're just basically free to loot if it doesn't destroy it. This is the first time and only time, if you can see that multi-shot, I hate it so much, that I found a glass tower, which was very convenient. Well, I guess ice, not glass. Very convenient for me, because then I can just basically see, you can see him coming all the way down. And that's how I usually do it, because I still have garbage tools. My sword I like, but it's still not a great sword. I like the effects on it, so it's really cool, but it's a close quarters. And I'm not going to try going close quarters with this guy. Not even a little. God, I really do not like that multi-shot. I thought it'd be better, but that spread, it just doesn't make any sense the more I look at it. But it's all I got right now. I have infinity on it, and that's really what's important to me as a whole. Strangely, it is not one of the ones I lose. I can usually avoid the guardian. But these kind of points is, when I die at these points, it's usually the most generic thing that kills me. Not a dragon. It could be hypothermia. Or it could just be one of these guys. See that gentleman right there with my helmet that I really wanted back? My Tide Guardian helmet? I really wanted that back, so I got too close. And of course the skeleton starts shooting me. I try to get my guy in there. Still not the greatest thing, but I want that helmet back. My guy's trying. He's trying. I still don't really know how to use the summoning staff that well. I'm doing better. I am doing better. But it's a skeleton that kills me. But I really want that helmet back. And eventually, I find my way back in, and there's less mobs. I gotta remember, the guy is down at the bottom still. That's what I'm kind of freaked out about. He's at the very bottom. And I just give up on that tower. I was there for a while, and I just get lost in the dark. And of course, you see, I'm getting cold. I still cannot get my temperatures right. I'm doing better with warming. But at this point, this is actually beneficial. There's a dragon right there. It's not going to be an issue, though. It's been beneficial for me to fly at night for certain things like this. This village here. Amazing. Find one, a full-size one like this. Because, one, they have a waystone, and they typically can provide you with something to sleep with. Because for whatever crazy reason, I end up losing or throwing away my sleeping bags. Of course, with these buildings here, they do have wool in them. Also have torches and things. And I already have been flying way too long. So right now, in my brain, it's usually the same thing. I'm worried about Reaper spawning because it's dark. Anytime you touch that bed, boom. A Reaper would like to spawn. Usually they're not too hard to kill. They're annoying when you're outside because then they kind of just suck you around in the dark and you can't really aim your bow. And since they like to keep away from you, it's a little harder to hit them when it's so dark. And I don't know why or how I lost it. It was probably coming from that tower and I couldn't get it back, or it despawned as a whole. But I end up finding the wool and sleeping. Here, it was cold. I'm pretty sure it was cold is why I ended up going towards the savannah and then coming to this jungle biome. And I saw these guys flying around. These amps. That's not the name, but that's just what I've been calling them because I don't want to try figuring out how to say the actual name. There it is right there. Boom, on the screen. These guys, I've seen them and they're so pretty. Like, look at their skinning. It's so perfect into like all the details, the color. I don't know why that tree has grown its leaves back, but it seems to be doing that. I don't think it's a glitch. I think it's actually a mechanic in the game. But even the blinking and everything is just, it's so perfect. Now, at this point, I know nothing about this flying creature. I know that one behind me was trying to attack me. Don't know why. So I'm flying away from it. And I want to learn something about this. So I try my soul gazer and then accidentally mount it. Didn't know you could mount these things at this point either. It's just attacking me. I don't put my shield up for whatever reason. My guy likes to fly away, so there's no point in trying to jump on him immediately. That's the problem, even though he's on follow. But I still want to learn something, you see? Nothing. Nothing to be learned about it, which was still strange to me because I didn't know. And eventually I look it up, but not until after I decide to shoot one down that followed me around. I didn't know how aggressive they were. I didn't really want to lose my stuff or having to go back. Don't really know why I kept shooting it. Maybe because there was another one over there I could have probably taken. But I end up killing this one. And it dropped the feathers, but I wanted one. So I make my way back. And the shield does help. I used apples. But yeah, just put your shield up and you won't take any damage, far as I know. I will say, I'll say it now and I'll probably say it again. This was not my first one. My first one was green. It was named Sugar. And I made it home on that one. I had to use a compass because I didn't know where I was flying. And these guys, the mechanic is very interesting. They glide. They can't hover like the rock does. And basically you just kind of glide around without fireworks, like kind of like Electra, but slower. And of course, you can just keep gliding as long as you're kind of going side to side for distance. Because I flew, it had to be, I think, 4,000 blocks. Eventually, I get this one home as well, like my last one. And with these, you can't just, there's no summoning for these things. You just have to get them down. And then what you use is, once you get them on the ground, is a dragon staff. You can see it on my bar next to my water. See? The command staff there. You get off. And then you shift on. You shift, click. And then there you go. With that. The flute. I love the flute. The flute makes sure when it's in range, if it's flying somewhere, it just lands back on the ground. That's what the flute does. It's just, it's a really cool sound. But that's what this does. But, like I said, this was not my first one of these amps. And you're about to find out why. These guys. These guys. Oh my goodness, that little one gets in. And let's just sit here and appreciate this wonderfully disgusting death cycle, because I thought I was protected, but of course I have no tools, so I can't even get back into my house. Yep. I was smart enough at some point to lead them away from my front door. I expected to die. That's fine, I don't have anything. But I wanted my gear back. So eventually, they stay over there. I get one of these things broke, which honestly was so much faster. I don't know where that little... If that's a real effect. That guy's not in my house. That's just from outside. I get my stuff back. Just like this. What is annoying is there's a lot of things that you don't realize that you can carry, that you can click on, and it activates it when you don't want to. Like the Atlas. You click on it when you don't want to, and then you open something up, and then, of course, it just leads to giant distractions. Because in 1.12.2, it's not as, how do I put it? Well, and it's a mod pack, too. It's not as snappy as you would want, especially in combat. But this sword is amazing. You see how it just does that? It will set them on fire. I can't remember the other effect that's on it, but I love the sword. I really do. This bird, these birds. I want one that color. It was the purple one I think I wanted. But I'm not going to try getting one this time. My idea, though, was, I don't know where I saw it. It might have been on Reddit that I learned about the lost dimension. And I have to go somewhere for that. So I decided to build and craft this wonderful shield here. It's a giant shield. Eventually I changed it to a diamond shield, so it's fine. But this shield is so big and awkward for that matter. Look at this thing. Yeah, I got my brains, my big brain strats. That's what that is. I took my fry hat off, but it's still there. We have to go to the Nether, which I didn't want to go to this soon. Why? Because it's a scary place. And if the mobs attack me this often in the overworld, I am just deadly afraid of the Nether. Because, of course, my stuff can just get set on fire and just be gone. And it's hot. That was my other big concern, which it will be. But I go in. It's not so scary yet because everything's kind of just spawning in. I don't really know what all the stuff is. I know what I'm there for. I know what I'm here for. It's the cinnamon. What are these things called? Cinnamon? Cinnacite? We're going to say cinnamon. We're going to say the cinnamon blocks. It's just like an ore block, let's say like quartz in here. You got to break it. It gives you, I think it only gives you a single piece though. I don't know if fortune does anything towards it, but right now I am nervous I am nervous. I see some right there. You see that? The cinnamon block right there? That's what we need. Also, look at my temp. I am watching that very closely because I don't have the proper cooling yet. Because for whatever reason, cooling stuff is much harder to get than heating. I can get blaze rods all day, but I can't get cooling. But I find some, and you need these pieces to make the forged cinnamon blocks to actually make the lanterns. I'm getting those to make lanterns. You need glowstone for lanterns. I already have glowstone from all the glowstone dust that I've collected from the towers and also from mob drops. I can't remember the mob though. Yeah, this is when you learn what wants to attack you. Like that thing right there attacked me. So I decided to put a trap in, which eventually we'll get to. This nether. Ugh. I'm hoping to explore it more, but it's just, ugh. It's rough. Just the heat alone, let alone the mobs that just, I don't know how they track you so quickly. And of course, I'm the only one here. And these flying ones, that was interesting. That's a little tower that's in there. It's not a fortress. I'm not really sure what the difference is because I can get blaze rods outside of the nether now. So that's not really that big of a deal. Also, wither skulls. I don't have to be in the nether for that, which is, I guess, fortunate. But I'm going to block this off. That's what I do. You kind of just make your way around. There's one thing, like mobs do. They, of course, I still haven't figured it out, like the mobs, the fire mobs and stuff that attack you like that. Like this flying head. I don't really know. See how this diamond sword is saving my life? This wraith right here. Ugh. This flying head, which I didn't think it'd fly through the portal, of course. It unlit my portal. And I am burning up. Burning up. But I still need to get back. But I also need to get some more synonym. I keep saying synonym. Cinnamon. Or this was tough. You see how hot I got? Mind you, I stay maybe 35 to, I want to say 50 seconds, give or take. Because you can see I'm burning up. I am burning up. I'm just trying to collect as fast as I can. I'm glad they're on this level that I'm at, which I don't have a clue what Y level I'm on. But they seem to be pretty bountiful. But even then, this nether, I just don't want to be in it. I don't. It's just too much. But I was still determined to make this portal. Which, with the portal, is you need 2 lanterns. Now this trap. The trap I wanted to use for something I can summon. That's what I used it for. And of course, with the trapdoors, they can assume they can walk out. That's why the trapdoor's there, if you didn't know that. The problem with that was, there's these really fast spots. That's the guy I wanted. Because you can summon these guys once you learn enough about them. And the spiders were my biggest problem. These little tarantulas were so bloody fast. This guy, I don't mind him. You can kind of fight him and dodge and sort of thing. But I didn't want it to set my house on fire. Which they do. See? That's what I was doing. And then, of course, I came up with the idea to get them in the hole. And then just basically tap them with my soul gazer and kill them to get the experience to learn about them. Which is a neat little trick, if you didn't know. This guy, they just can't, he can go through the door. They always get trapped right there. And I can't click them outside because they're just... Summoning does not always help. You see that? He's still trying... I should really put water on the other side too. Doors are helpful. Pro tip, doors are helpful. See that? He's just setting my house on fire. I've never summoned one, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've never summoned one of those. Never summoned one. But let's see how quickly I can get this done. I do. I do get it done as a whole. You see? As a whole. See how I just said that? There it is. That's a smaller one. Even the bigger ones will fall into the hole too. And what you do is you want to click on them. What you do, you just kind of have to crouch some. And then I wanted to also try one other thing as a whole, which was this, the fire. Because the ice fire, that is. See, that's not an ice guy. And it does work. Now, I'm not sure if it works kind of like, I'm thinking more of like a Pokemon feel, like fire, ice, or something that counters this sort of attack. So I'm back in because I'm determined to get some more of this cinnamon. I don't like the nether. It's not my worst experience, per se. Because I do a lot of fighting now, so I have a little bit more confidence in my tools as a whole, and the shield's amazing. The shield is amazing, and I say that and I think I lose it in this episode sometime. It's a little expensive to make, but it's really worth it for how much it actually works as a whole. And this episode was pretty loaded because there was so many random stuff I wanted to do, and I just couldn't do them all. And it all depends on the season. It really all depends on the season, on what I do. If it's hot, I'd like to end up going to, and you see me making the standard lanterns there. I would like to go to cold biomes if it's summer, because summer's nice. Now, savannas are nice in the winter, if you didn't know that. You can typically keep your temperature where it needs to be as a whole. Desert's still really, really hot. These hills here are okay if you have heating. The cold function, though, that's one thing I still haven't figured out. It still gets pretty hot out here. Not desert hot, but it does get pretty hot pretty quick. Even with like morning or even nighttime. Nighttime kind of cools down. But that's usually how I plan my strategies on what I do. Even if, let's say, I'm traveling somewhere, I try to look for a biome that I won't get too hot in, because I still can't figure this out. I think most of my armor right now, except for my chest plate, which has an Aussie liner on it, is all warming +1 as a whole. So I'm trying to put these heads down now. Now, that zombie is not a skull. It has to be a skull. And when I picked it up, it says head. See, that says skull. I thought I did this wrong. I thought I did. But I did eventually go and look for some more heads, skeleton heads, which I actually found. And it wasn't intentional. I was just there to get another Medusa head. Which, that's how I set that wisp to stone, was that right there. And I still had these heads. Eventually I use just skeleton, not wither heads. But I was too afraid to click the bed. So this is where I ended up. Because you have to click the bed. There was 2 of these islands, I believe. This is one I was like, hey, maybe I should move here. Because it's isolated. It's by itself. The trees are a little nice. I don't need too much room. There's a house here. I don't really have to do too much. There's some renovation. There's villagers here in the tower that's there. Which means if somehow I can get... Because I don't know if you can even breed villagers in 1.12.2. Not a clue. But if I can breed more, it means I can have basically more on-call guardians. So I'm going to take this on. Didn't realize at first that carpet was there. This guy gets on my nerves quite a bit still. This rock. I say this guy a lot when I'm playing. Because that bird. That carpet keeps him inside. which was very beneficial. I don't know how many spawners are in this thing. Don't know. That's one. And then I go up these stairs. Let me just say, when I went up these stairs, normally I can kind of make my plan out. I don't just run into buildings, because I don't need to just be attacked and then some weird thing happen. This guy right here scared me when I turned towards him. I was too afraid to move. It was quick then, but I didn't move at first. Like, I just froze. That's why I turned and looked at him instead of just running off. These guys are interesting, though. I don't know what the mob name is. And I didn't know what their abilities were. I just see their arms go up, and then I start panicking, because you know what that means. And I cannot stand a Vex. But these guys actually summon these illusions. Go through walls and stuff, but they don't attack you. You can't kill them or anything, which was interesting to find out. I don't know what their other abilities are because I didn't get that close to them. Yeah, see? The whole arms thing. Didn't know until I got close because I was trying to use my sword. Once the arrows didn't work at all to the guys on the outside, I just completely ignored them. I don't even know how long they actually stay spawned in, because it's not really that important to me. I just know if I kill the other guys, then these people will go away as well. And I couldn't remember. See, there's the spawner. I couldn't remember where the spawner was, and that's what I was trying to locate with everything that's in there, because I don't know how many spawners. There's been buildings. I found little ships. I'm talking about the tiny little ships, if I can remember, which I won't. In this mod pack on the ocean, you'll see this little dinky wooden ship with a skull flag. What do you call those? Mast? Not the mast. The sail. Sail. That's the word. Sail. Little. They're one of the small ships you can find. This thing, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, I want to say had 6 spawners in it. 1 in the front, 1 in the back, and then 4 in the center. It's a tiny ship. Hopefully I can remember to show you, because it's legit that many that's in there. And I break that one there. Always pick up your stuff, because you never know what it's going to drop. As an ingredient, you just never know. So I just end up making sure I pick stuff up. And I'm still looking. There was one up top. Up that ladder, there was another spawner there, but I dispatched to that as well. But something happened. When I was leaving there, just check around it, of course, I got shot out of the air by a fire dragon. Again. They just sneak up on you. They really do. And my armor's okay. Like, I don't just automatically go down, but it's my bird. It's my bird that's the problem. Well, my bird's okay. I like my bird, even though he's a bit nutty. I don't know why this guy will not attack that dragon. He'll attack this thing, but of course I can't shoot because I don't want to shoot my guy. These things, they're not that dangerous, but they are inconvenient when you're trying to fight something in the air. I guess at a certain altitude. But this, I do kill this dragon and loot it. But this was not my worst dragon fight as a whole. An ice dragon, which I would love to have. This is how well that went. This was not my first death. And right now I'm suffocating in a block, and I didn't realize it. I just took a shot in the dark and just started digging. That's all I did. That's all I did. And then I don't remember, did I point up or did I just mine the block at my feet? I don't remember. I'm just trying to get my stuff back, like my tools and, of course, my recall. And that doesn't work either. Let's just say it doesn't go well. It just, this It's a beautiful, beautiful dragon. Beautiful dragon. Which I can't tame, which I didn't realize. But that's it. Hopefully the next episode we will have some more dragon action. And thank you for watching.